Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to episode 55 of The Angry Chicken, a podcast about Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined, as I always should be, by Willie Dills Gregory and Miss Jocelyn Moffat. Guys, welcome, and Dills, welcome back.
It's good to be back, sir.
It's good to have you back.
I'm really excited about something, though. Can I just share it with you guys?
No.
Absolutely.
Jocelyn wants to hear. I went and got myself an Anchor Steam beer, as I sometimes do. I came back in, and I rearranged my room, and I found out that I angled my base case, my base hard case, perfectly where I can chuck my bottle cap, and it ricochets right into the garbage can. That's super exciting things are going on in my life, everybody.
So very talented.
You know, I realize a lot of people are probably like, thanks, Dills, but that is totally the kind of thing I get way too effing excited about.
Exactly. It's just, you know, it's like I noticed it and I was like, yes! Oh my god, forever and ever. I will be able to just fling it over there without
where
a
is
thought
this
in the
coming
world.
from? Oh no.
Ah!
Damn websites.
The
I
second
swear
time that's happened, Gary.
to God, I know. How dare I? This time it wasn't Twitch though. It was. It looks like it was the Brian Kibler website.
Oh, see this sneaky websites with their ads.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah, sneaky podcast with their ads too. By the way, we do it. We do it too. We're guilty.
We do. We're just like, hey, we have this thing called Patreon you should go to, or hey, we've got a shirt over at /loot, or I could go on, but
So
I
many
won't.
things.
I'll stop right here.
We'll do that later.
Anyway, so we're all here. We're back. I think we're all playing a little more World of Warcraft than we probably usually do.
Just a little bit.
So I have to ask you guys, who has had Mr. Ben Brode visit their garrison in WoW? Because I got real lucky today, and he visited me, and I'm now a lot.
How does it happen? I'm not even. I don't think I read the article.
He's just a random visitor. It appears to me.
it's a random thing.
Today he just showed up. I did nothing that I was aware of different.
The fact that he's random, how does that surprise you even a little?
Does he come in and then the laugh just like you just hear this laugh somewhere and you're like,
That's how you know
Brode
he's
is
there.
here. Brode is in the house.
That's.
What I want to know is when are we going to get Will Brode to visit my garrison?
Yes.
Yeah.
The chiller of the Brodes.
Well, you would have to like /talk, and then he would be walking by and he would go, "Wait a minute, I recognize that
and then
voice."
He would /listen.
Are
Yeah,
you Dills?
Exactly.
Are you Dills? Oh, chat room saying they think it's level 3 garrison, which I just upgraded to, so maybe that is
Okay.
it.
I don't have
I don't
enough
have that yet.
garrison resources for that. So.
I had just enough. Now I have none.
So here's what I've done since I hit level 100. Hit level 100, and I was like, I'm going to do so many heroics, and I'm going to be in my garrison, I'm going to finish in the grand. All I've done is PvP. That is all I've
Dills
done.
is back.
So jealous.
He is back,
That
ladies
is
and
all I'm
gentlemen.
doing, man. Me
Good.
and Valkyrion, man, we're going to town on that PvP. It's so
Good.
fun right now because you get like a box, and then you just open the box, and then sometimes there's just gear in it. So you don't even have to like save up honor forever.
The beer fairy just brought me a Newcastle. I'm very excited.
Oh, nice. Now, where, might I ask, are you going to throw that bottle cap where it will ricochet directly into a garbage can?
Well,
That's
the
my question.
The beer fairy, a.k.a. Katie, took it with
She
her.
just takes it away. Okay.
She took it with her, yeah. That's
Part of the beer fairy.
if I'm lucky.
That's the responsibilities of being a beer fairy.
Yeah, I tried putting it under my pillow and getting money, but it didn't work.
You get a fresh beer in the morning.
There you go.
Beer cap under there.
Put a beer
It'd be a
cap
little
in.
warm though.
I cannot wait till I'm a parent and I can start doing stuff like that.
You should not give your child a bottle of beer for their tooth.
It'll be non-alcoholic. Come
just gonna
on,
put
I'm
that
not a
out there.
monster.
Just gotta break
Oh.
them in. That's all.
Wow, yeah.
So, okay.
Anyways, I have.
Second question, though.
Oh, okay.
What does Ben Brode do? Can you buy something from him?
He is a merchant, and he sells a Hearthstone game board, which is a toy in the game, for 1,000 gold. Which I was like, I don't care. I'm spending 1,000 gold on this. And
Worth
then
it.
he sells a winning hand toy, which I forget how much it was. It was significantly cheaper.
That sounds so dirty and wrong.
A hand toy, you say.
Winning hand toy.
It's a winning hand.
So when
That
you
is
are
a
using
toy.
this toy in your hand on yourself, you could say you're winning?
You shoot out fireworks and start
It
dancing.
shoots out stuff.
It shoots things out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, fireworks fly up into the sky, and your character starts dancing.
Okay. Well, I always start dancing after I use my winning hand toy.
Oh, you.
Oh god.
Anyways, so I'm glad that I have a Hearthstone board in WoW now. And when you click on it, you flip it over and cards and the pieces fly everywhere.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
you can table flip it?
You can table
That's
flip it.
amazing.
As a matter of fact, I think that's all you can do because you throw it down and it emotes to everyone who wants to play. But then you click on it and you just
I
flip the
have
thing.
heard that a couple of times where all of a sudden just the Hearthstone theme starts playing and I'm like, what the?
Yep.
Do I have it running in the background? Oh, no,
Oh,
wait, it's the toy.
It's delightful. There's some great Hearthstone love in the new WoW expansion.
That's awesome.
It's great. So neither I was curious if either of you had found him, but chat room seems to have confirmed that it's a level 3 gears and things.
So I'll
Yeah,
get
so-
there. I'll get
I
there.
don't have my garrison high enough. I only just got the quest, like the follower mission thing to get the signed Hearthstone card, so
Gotcha.
I just did that.
Gotcha.
But also, Jocelyn's got mega Jocelyn eyes now.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned this. Jocelyn, you are now a cyborg. Welcome.
I
She
do
is
have
more
fancy
machine
laser
now
eyes.
than man.
You're gonna make people think I have like eyeball implants. I just got my
Yeah,
eyes
they're
fixed,
fresh
that's
eyeballs.
all.
Oh. See, I keep thinking, getting them lasered is one thing, but what if you just got like fresh new robot eyes put in? Wouldn't that be better? I mean, was that an option? Could you check a box and that's what they would do instead?
As far as I know, that wasn't an option. I don't
Okay.
think I would have done it if it was. Getting laser surgery was terrifying enough. Yeah, it's I'm just recovering. So today was my first day I was allowed to look at screens again, which was exciting.
Not looking at screens for an entire weekend sounds like a personal hell. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest.
it was pretty terrible. Pretty
That's
terrible.
why I saw you on BattleNet the second you got home from work today.
Oh, I didn't go to work today.
Oh,
Today
never
I was
mind.
off.
That's why I saw you on BattleNet during work hours.
Yeah, I pretty much spent the last 3 days sleeping. I slept until probably like 2 o'clock in the afternoon today. Turns out that when you have your vision messed with, it makes you really, really tired.
Oh, well, I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah. I want the chat room's opinion on this. You guys let me know. I feel like Jocelyn should be allowed to because of her love for Eye for an Eye. We were talking about this before the show. I feel like she should just be allowed to, anytime something has to do with her eyes, she should be able to just do it back. Like she just is constantly running the secret Eye for an Eye in life. So you
In
should have said
life.
to the doctor, yeah. Doc, I get to laser your eyes now. It's part of the deal. I'm sorry. I'm Jocelyn. That's just how this works.
I'm sorry you
So-
didn't know that I had a secret, but it was active and it was your
It's
turn
a
and
secret.
you popped it.
It was your turn. Yeah, you should have checked for it, Should have maybe prodded at my face a little bit, like a little lower. and
She's
then-
going to go back for an exam. They're going to make her read the eye chart, and she'll finish and be like, okay, your turn. What does the bottom line say?
Yeah, you're up. Secret unactivated.
No, take your glasses off. What does the bottom line say, Mr. Dr. Man?
Now, you did tell me, Jocelyn, that you can read things now. Like,
I
that you
can
couldn't
read things.
before.
And actually, that was the most kind of amazing thing because I didn't have the best vision before, obviously. And so they
No,
do
wait
the
a minute.
surgery.
You got lasered when you didn't have the best vision. Okay.
I know, shocker. So I was laying on the table. They do the surgery. It's terrifying. If anyone wants to know all the details, I will tell you. But yeah, no, it's terrifying. But then you sit up and they're like, "Oh, can you read the clock on the wall just to see how long it took?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh my god, I can read the clock on the wall."
Whoa, it's that quick?
It was like instant. Yeah,
What?
it was pretty amazing.
That is awesome. That is so amazing.
I am afraid for the future of this world. We have come too far, you guys. I mean, I know we can do it, but should we?
Yes, Dills. Think of how awesome it's going to be. We're all going to be at BlizzCon next year, and Jocelyn will be able to laser off the bottle caps. She's going to be like,
I'm
"Bzz."
gonna hone my skills.
We're gonna be like, where are they doing the Hearthstone tournament? She's just gonna like look around. There, it's there. 5 stories over something. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have apparently 20/20 vision right now, and then it's just going to get better as it heals. So everything's still like looking at the screen right now is a little bit much. I'm kind of squinting and stuff, but everything like I'm light sensitive still. It's kind of glowy and halo-y, but apparently that'll go away. So
Okay.
Awesome.
Side effects? Someone's asking me side effects. What are the side effects?
I have a whole lot of blood in my eyes right now, and it looks
Oh God.
so yeah. It's I look kind of funny, but
That is too awesome for words. That is so great. Please take a close up and tweet it. I would appreciate that.
okay, wait, hang on.
Oh no!
God.
Oh God!
Show
I
you.
God! I can
Yeah,
see
she's
it.
gonna show you right now.
Oh, I apologize to our YouTube audience. Warning. What is
Yeah.
it like? Content may be too mature for young audiences or something. Whatever the
So
crap.
Hearthstone.
Yeah,
is a
Hearthstone
thing.
is a thing we should talk about. And there's a bit of news this week, so let's get into it.
Good news, everyone!
See, this would have been the best place to say Jocelyn has bionic eyes, because it is good news. But moving on. Last week, Dills, you weren't here, but we talked a little bit about a couple of the Goblins versus Gnome cards that had been revealed. We're not doing a formal review, but they are revealing them slowly, as I'm sure you've seen with the voting, the red versus the blue card.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite fun. I seem to be voting red more often. I wonder what that says about me.
I seem to be voting blue more often, but I feel like I know last week I said that I think it's because at least last week both the priest cards were blue, and I'm very interested for whatever reason in the priest cards.
I wonder if Blizzard realizes that when you pit red versus blue, nothing could go wrong, right? No lives are lost.
No, not at all.
They do come from... They're not in East LA, though, so I guess it's chill. But whatever. The mean streets of Anaheim, red versus blue doesn't mean the same thing.
Yeah, it's Horde and Alliance, right?
I was going to say,
totally.
I kept voting red because Horde until this week because...
Well, I just can't vote blue because of Dodgers, essentially.
We all have completely non-Hearthstone reasons for what we chose to vote for, except Garrett.
Garrett's like, I'm going to vote for the one I want to see the most. It's like, no blue.
Not what we're referencing, Garrett. Way to go. Learn sports. Learn it. So, anyways, the voting's still going on, and since last week, 3 more cards have been released or previewed as a result of the voting. The first step was back on November 19th, which was the Muster for Battle spell, which is it's a 3-mana rare paladin spell, and it reads: summon 3 1/1 Silverhand recruits, equip a 1/4 weapon. There's a lot of 1 damage going on in this card.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this card. A lot of people were saying, "Oh my god, the value, it's so good. 3 1/1s, that's like 6 mana worth of 1/1s." But your 1/1s don't cost a card. They cost, 2 extra mana that you had in your turn or whatever. You're talking about doing it with a card. And if you talk about a 1/1 that's a card, you're talking about the Wisp. So I don't think you could say that's 6 mana worth of 1/1s. Maybe that's like 1.5
0 mana worth of 1/1s.
Well, yeah, but you're putting them all in one card. I think it's still worth a little more than a Wisp, but yeah, it's. I would say this is like overcosted a little bit. I would like to see this cost like 2 mana. And then I think it would be really good. 3 mana, I don't know if I'll play it.
I'd play the hell out of this for 2 mana. Now, I'm curious. This is one of the cards where I'm like, okay, I really would like to see the rest of the set to judge this card.
Yeah, no, there's got to be something that goes
because anything that can do any attack at all with a paladin isn't terrible because they have the card equality. Now, in my head, I see something like this. I'm like, this would be amazing if there were more tools in the paladin's arsenal that would make their opponent's minions have 1 health, even if it was a single minion. So say we had an Aldor Peacekeeper that did health instead of attack.
Well, they have Repentance the Secret, right? So that knocks something down when it gets played, but you're relying on the fact that they're not going to play a Loot Hoarder into it or something like that and essentially have it nullified. So they do have one other tool, but maybe we'll see some more. I do think, though, that one use you could have for it is you play something like a Sword of Justice, and then the way that it's written out, it says summon 3 1/1 Silverhand recruits, and then the next sentence is equip 1/4 weapon, right? So I feel like the 1/1s come out before the weapon comes out. So I'm guessing, I'm going to have to see this in action, that you'd get 3 2/2s, and then you would equip your 1/4. So if you had 3 charges left on a Sword of Justice, this could be pretty good.
Yeah, but then you also get into... Like, I kind of assume like it all happens simultaneously, even though the animation has to happen in a certain order.
I don't think that it would. I mean,
I think the summoning would resolve first.
I mean, it doesn't say then, obviously, so it's like that's why it's hard to tell exactly. Like if it said the word then, like say Earthshock. Earthshock says silence a minion, then do 1 damage to it. It literally says the word then. But because this is an order, there are things in the game where a couple things happen during the turn, like 1 play of a card. So I do think that in this case, I'm going to guess that the 1/1s happen first, but I don't know.
Apparently, chat room is saying that Ben Bro did confirm on Twitter that that's the way it works. That you get your 3 1/1s, then you equip a weapon.
So you would have 3 2/2s, and then
3
you would have
2/2s, and then a Light's Justice. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that would be fine. You could do stuff like play a Sword of Justice and the token type of Paladin, play Knife Juggalo, play and then play this card.
That's a little weird on curve because of the cost of Sword of Justice, and then And
Yeah,
then
it wouldn't go turn 2 Sword of Justice, turn 3 Muster for Battle, but
No,
you'd play it later on probably. Sword of Justice isn't really that good on turn 3 anyway, I don't think.
No, I agree.
Because you lose tempo, you know.
Yeah, but also, how good is 3/2/2s later on?
It can be good. It's not as good, obviously, but
Yeah.
it can. I mean, it can still be good. I mean, the Paladin 1/1 hero ability is still fine. You keep pumping those things out as the game goes on. It's just another body to deal with and another body to deal with. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it does. I don't think that this deck, without us seeing the rest of the cards, a deck just built around this would be very good.
Yeah, no. If we get what I hope we get, which is like an Aldor Peacekeeper that changes health to 1 health, I'd be much more excited about a card like this.
Or if, let's say, they have something that buffs weapons, like what Warriors have, where you can do something like upgrade. Let's say Light's Justice, I could do something and upgrade my weapon, and then suddenly a 1/4 weapon is pretty good because I can upgrade it somehow.
That is very true.
See.
That is very true. It seems very unpaladin-like in flavor, however.
I guess that's true. I'm wondering, I mean, maybe at some point in the game we'll start seeing stuff like weapon enchants and things like that. Could be interesting, but for now, you're right. It's not really something Paladins are known for, is buffing their own weapons.
I'm very quickly looking at the spare parts. None of them affect weapons. Okay.
I would expect actually the first class to get weapon buffs outside of Warrior would be Shaman, because you have things like the Rock Biter and stuff like that you actually put on. It's part of the class. It's putting stuff on your weapon.
Right.
But it'd be interesting. We'll see how they. I mean, we have to see the whole set before we can really judge how good or bad a card is.
There are neutral pirates too for weapon buffing.
Well, that's true.
That is very true.
Hey, play a Captain Greenskin with this bad boy. Suddenly you have a 2/5 weapon.
Which
not too shabby.
is kind of baller. Yeah. I will take a 2/5 weapon. I would not mind
What
that.
you do is you throw a Captain's Parrot and you throw a Greenskin in. And then you have 4 1/1s and a 2/5
I'm not
weapon.
sure how much I'm loving building around Muster for Battle. I'm not sure I'm falling in love with this card. But I am
at the
enjoying
same time,
the
it kind of
shit
shows
out
how
of
much
this
fun we're
conversation.
going to have building decks trying to make all these things work. Like
That is
this
very
stuff
true.
is just crazy.
I cannot.
It's a little
wait.
overwhelming right now.
The
to be
first
honest.
few weeks of this expansion are going to be so much fun.
It's going to be the Wild West out there.
There's going to be
If the West included mechs and weird gadgets.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be the Wild West starring Will Smith.
Yeah,
Because it was
exactly.
a giant
Weird
robot
spider
spider.
bots that walk around. Yeah,
Exactly. Man,
That's kind of Wild West there is, actually.
I was lucky I was young enough to enjoy that
I
movie.
think that was okay. That movie was awful.
I was so young. I was believed Will Smith could do no wrong.
Sure, it's Will Smith. Yeah, he punches aliens in the face. Of course, that's Will
Yeah.
Smith. That's what he
Welcome to
does.
Earth.
Worst part of that movie.
Worst or best?
Worst.
I think the
Dude,
worst.
they just left like the underground lair where it's like the alien is like throwing people against the wall with its mind and like choking out scientists, and then Will Smith just punches it in the face.
I'm not sure if that outranks
Makes no sense.
uploading a virus with a MacBook to an alien
Oh,
ship.
yeah,
but
that's true. That's how you take down a ship.
Anyways, the other card that was released was on November 21st. They previewed the Cog Hammer, which I voted for, and it won. It is a 3-mana epic paladin weapon. It has 2 attack and 3 durability, and it has a battle cry that reads, "Give a random friendly minion divine shield and taunt." I think I like this card.
Do you think you like this card better than Muster for Battle?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely yes.
Yeah, this is a good card.
I dig this card quite a bit.
Consider the Ancient Watcher turn 2, Cog Hammer turn 3 play.
Ooh.
You have a 4/5 with Divine Shield and Taunt that can't attack, but it's still it's a big crazy wall. It's a Sunwalker that can't attack.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take
That's
that.
pretty sick.
I would not be against that in the least.
Yeah. That is a pretty sick move right there. So I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see that too. That's gonna be the move where you play a Paladin, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna go Watcher into Cog Hammer now, and I just can't get through it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, a little bit of me is like that would be so awesome. I feel like I can already hear the complaints, like about like Undertaker level complaints.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be bad, man.
Guys, there's nothing we
One
can
Yeti type stuff, all of that.
There's nothing we can do about this turn 3, cog hammer into an already ancient watcher. This is BS, guys. Nerf it. Nerf.
Well,
I
there's a
really
couple
think
things you
like
can
we
do.
haven't seen a whole lot of like silence or removal, but what we have seen is a whole lot of crazy, crazy cards. And I really think that it's just going to be like one crazy play after another crazy play. And the way you're going to deal with something like that is to throw down your own big, huge buffed thing on your turn 3 as any other class. I think we're
No,
going to
I
see a
agree.
lot more minion play.
It's going to be a lot of back and forth, actually trading and doing all that. Because like right now, you have all these decks that are kind of built around just kind of clearing the board combo, and that's going to be, I think, a thing of the past. I don't think those decks are going to be able to get away with it when you have stuff like this coming out on turn 2. So
Yep.
they're going to play this on turn 2. You're going to have to figure out some. I mean, that's the thing I was thinking about. I was like, what minion currently in the game could I put against that would trade equally on turn 3, and it just doesn't exist. I mean, you
That
can
we
do
know
something
of.
like Deadly Shot or Hex It, something like that, but there's gonna be a lot of classes that won't have any way to deal with it.
Yeah.
At least in the current iteration of Hearthstone. You're right, Jocelyn. Like there's gonna be other stuff we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Because we still have, how many cards have they revealed so far? Like maybe 30?
I think there's over 50 on.
Hearthhead has a good thing.
Total?
Let's see. I don't know if it's got a count, but
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, I mean, we haven't even seen half the cards yet, which is kind of mind-blowing. So, I mean, they're still going to reveal a whole lot more between now and December 1st sort of thing, but still, like, there are so many things we just don't know.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like I was saying about Muster for Battle. I'm kind of curious to see the rest of the Paladin's arsenal, which with Coghammer, I'm very excited. Doesn't make me want Muster of Battle anymore, but yeah, it's this kind of stuff that I'm interested in.
I'm counting like more than 50 at this point.
Yeah, I thought with
almost 60.
with everything
maybe
that
60.
was announced at BlizzCon, which was a big chunk,
Right.
and then we're getting the reveals on the Hearthstone site, plus sites like PC Gamer and a few others are also getting exclusive card reveals. We've
it's got to
seen
be around 60.
we've seen over half the set already.
Yeah.
So it's getting up there. It's getting up there.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the point. But some of these, now I'm not sure. Like the spare parts cards, is that counted in the 120 count, or are those?
No, it's not.
Extra. Those are extra.
Those
Those
should
are
be,
bonus,
those
yeah.
should be extra, I would think.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure that they said at BlizzCon that they were extra, that spare parts didn't count in the card
they're
count.
not part of the 120 core new
Right.
cards that we're getting. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, so then we've seen because the 7 of those are spare part cards. So and then there's like Boombot. So yeah, we've seen about 50 something then.
Yeah, so we've seen about half the set. We're getting there. We're getting there. So the next card I want to talk about was on November 24th. They which is today. Yep. They previewed our first class legendary, which was the Hunter legendary, Gozrilla.
Drool.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm pretty. I like this card.
I love this card. Oh my god.
Gozrilla is a 7 mana legendary hunter specific minion. It has 6 attack and 9 health, and text which reads: whenever this minion takes damage, double its attack.
And it's a beast.
And it's a beast. Which it should be, because it's Gozrilla and it's a hunter. So yeah, I'm in love with. I want to take this thing on a vacation and cook it breakfast. I'm excited about Gozrilla. This card looks fun and horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's insane. But I do feel like there's got to be ways to deal with it that we don't know about yet. But it's pretty crazy, man. It's so Zul'Farrak, is that where this was?
Yes, the
Gozrilla. Yeah,
the 5-man. It was like around level 40 in Tanaris.
Yeah, it was the one where you just killed tons of trolls and got lots of troll sweat and stuff when you were clearing this dungeon. But it's so a hunter will play this and then do things like I've heard a lot of things like, oh, I'll play Elven Archer or Matter Bomber. And that's the first thing I tweeted about was like that's the dream is like play Gozrilla and then play Matter Bomber, which throws 6 bombs out, and if it hits Gozrilla 3 times, you swing for 48 damage. So,
If Bouncing Blade makes it into a regular rotation in the arsenal of a warrior, Gozrilla is going to be just terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, but Bouncing Blade, you would never play with Gozrilla on board unless it was the only creature, right? Like, there's just no way.
That's
you
very
would do
true.
that.
That's very true.
That would be ridiculous. But yeah, it's there's a lot of ways to activate this. hunters aren't like warriors where they have class specific cards that would activate it, but there's plenty of neutral stuff that will do it. So if you're gonna play it, I think you want to try to play an activator with it.
I mean, you
But
could hit
either
it with
way,
your own
I feel
arcane
like
shot,
a 6/9
right?
is fine.
I mean, you could hit it with your own arcane shot, correct?
Yeah,
Am I
absolutely.
crazy? All right.
So yeah, so arcane shot, what you call it, elven archer, mad bombers, a lot of different ways to do it.
Matter bombers.
Or actually, you could hit it with your own kill command too, if you wanted to.
Oh, that's absolutely right. That's right.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that 12 attack might be all you need.
Well, that's the thing. So it would be like, do I do 5 to his face, or do I do 6 to his face, 6 more to his face? So, and that would be worth it. And then let's say it's already been buffed once. You hit it again. Now it's doing 24. It's just kind of a crazy card, man.
Yep. Yeah, it has a lot.
You're talking big giant leaps of damage. This is not like the +3 of a Gurubashi Berserker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This thing has hidden text dies on it. People are going to use whatever removal is in their hand to deal with it. But man, that one time that they don't have a way to deal with Gazrilla, you're going to feel like the king. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wild Pyromancer. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about earlier too. But yeah, you'll be able to cast several spells on their face each time. So you play this, and the next turn, kill command face, arcane shot face. Each time it's doing double the damage. So there's gonna be some OTK hunter combos.
Yep.
30 health doesn't seem like enough with a card like Godzilla laying around.
So, anyways, also this week, Blizz put up a kind of a little deeper dive into their spare parts. I wouldn't call it a new mechanic technically, but it's kind of a new mechanic, even though they said we're not bringing new mechanics.
I mean, it's a buff, is what,
right. Right.
So
they're buff.
We have buff cards.
They're buff cards. It's more or less works the same way in spirit as King Mukla giving your opponent bananas. But we talked a little bit about spare parts during our BlizzCon episode, but there was so much other crap to talk about. I don't feel like we really got to sink our teeth in. So let's talk about spare parts because Blizz put up a post, so why not? And also they revealed two more cards with that post to kind of illustrate how spare parts works. So what spare parts are is they are all 1 mana spells that specific cards coming in Goblins versus Gnomes will grant you from doing something with that card. Playing that card, having that card die, whatever the case, you might get a random spare part in your hand. There are 7 different spare parts. And like we said, they're only 1 mana and they're spells. So they do very, very minuscule stuff. Like, for example, there's Whirring Blades, which just gives a minion +1 attack. Time Rewinder, return a friendly minion to your hand. And this is all fine because these aren't cards we're actually putting into our deck. These are extra cards we're getting.
Yeah, and they're at random too, so you're not going to be able to make sure that you get the specific one that helps you. So the cards that kind of gift these, they kind of have to have intrinsic value on their own, I think, to be able to play them.
Right.
Because you're just going to hope that you get the one you need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now anyone can, in theory, freeze something because of emergency coolant. It freezes a single minion, and that's cool. I'm excited about this stuff. I know some people are getting down on all the randomness.
But what it does, it makes sure that every game is going to be different, and that's what and that's what Ben Brode would, and in his presentation at BlizzCon, that was the thing that they really kind of hammered home was. Randomness doesn't make the game unskillful. Randomness makes the game more skillful because you have to adapt to the changing situations. Every game, you can't go out there and say, this is how my deck works. On turn 1, I play this. On turn 2, I play this. On turn 3, I do this. That's not how this game's going to work. You're going to have to say, on turn 1, I do this, and then I see what he does. And then I see what my cards are, and I see what I can do. And I have to make a better decision than he does, and that's how I win the game. And I think they're absolutely correct. So the randomness in this set does not bother me in the least.
Yeah. That being said, man, I get rid of randomness on Lightning Storm because it makes me personally mad, and my opinion is the most important. So.
I do think there's some cards where the randomness is crazy, like Ragnaros. Ragnaros is shooting out 8 damage. It's like that's a game changing amount of randomness where. That one hit goes here or it goes there, that determines the game, the straight up outcome of the game. But if you have stuff like this where it's like, here's a 1-mana card that does something, I don't know which one I'm going to get. I have to use that in the best possible strategic way I can. Or stuff like Matter Bomber or Mad Bomber too. Checking out 1 damage. Yes, it subtly changes the complexion of the game, but it doesn't just outright say I win or lose based on this 1 coin flip. And that's, I think, the best kind of randomness. Is kind of subtle randomness. It kind of changes the complexion of the board stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'll tell you, the kind that I'm the most excited about is what we're looking at right here with spare parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking at these, and there's really none of these cards where I feel like I'd be mad getting them. There's definitely some where I know there's going to be certain scenarios where I would prefer one of them over another. But I don't think I'm ever going to get one of these and just be like totally pissed.
Well, yeah, I would think maybe the reversing switch would be the least. I don't know, maybe not though. I don't know. Yeah, in every situation. Actually, I think Whirling Blades and Armor Plating are like the weakest ones of all of them. That just buff like by 1 for 1 mana.
I think I think Armor Plating is, in my opinion, worse than Whirling Blades. I'd much rather have an attack than a health.
In most cases, yes, but I feel like there's already kind of a precedence for 1 mana being worth 1 of both, not 1 of either. Right?
That's very true.
Bananas.
But also, how many times have we had those turns? I mean, Dills, we've done coaching sessions many times where we're sitting there and we just had that 1 extra mana and we had no other play, and it's like, well, why not? Just do this anyway.
No, there's gonna be plenty of times where you can definitely shove 1 more mana into your turn, and that's what these cards will do really well at.
And
so.
They're spells, so they'll activate things like Adjazan Auctioneer. I think it's gonna make the game a lot more interesting. So. I'm looking forward.
One thing that's weird is that the Mech-Bear-Cat is a druid card, right? So...
Yeah, let's bring this up. So
okay,
yeah, so got it up on the screen now. So they showed 2 new Goblins versus Gnome cards to kind of help them, explain spare parts. So the first one they showed was Mech-Bear-Cat, which appears to be a 6 mana rare druid minion. And a wonderful South Park reference.
I was going to say, did anyone else catch the South Park reference? Because it made me so
We
happy.
have to kill Mad Bear Pig. We have
Super
to.
cereal, guys.
Which also, another bullet point, South Park this past week was effing amazing. I'm trying so hard not to cuss.
I haven't seen it.
It's about magic and it's about dick jokes. So keep your children away.
2 of my favorite things, you guys.
Yeah, keep your kids away.
Those 2 of everyone's favorite things. Come on.
But it is hilarious, and much like the World of Warcraft episode, they actually did a surprisingly faithful job to representing the game being played.
Yeah, that was the thing about that WoW episode. That when it first came out, I was like, oh god, here we go again, another thing where I realized that they don't understand and they're just making fun of us. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my god, they're not making fun of us at all. They totally get it.
They're making fun of like the one dude.
Yeah, they're making fun of that guy, but they're not making fun of the game, or you know what I mean? They did such a good job on that. So
it's great. Definitely go watch it. It is called Cock Magic, and it is one of the greatest episodes. Of
like
South
it's like
Park
a
ever.
chicken.
That's amazing.
It actually revolves heavily around chickens, which made me all the happier. I hope somewhere that at South Park there's an Angry Chicken listener. I hope so. So
hey, you never know.
Never know.
Anyways, oh God, I love South Park. Oh, I love it so much. Anyways, back to Mech-Bear-Cat. He's a 6 mana rare druid minion. He has 7 attack, 6 health. So already, I'm happy with Mr. Mech-Bear-Cat.
I wish that was reversed, though. I got to be honest. I wish it was 6 mana, 6/7. I would be happier.
Agreed. I agree, but I'm not. Like,
no, I'm not going to stick on.
Not this. Unhappy. But he also reads, whenever this minion takes damage, add a spare part card to your hand.
Yep. So you get at least 1, unless you get something like assassinated or some other hard removal that or polymorphed or hex or something like that. You'll at least get the 1 spare part. So you can kind of consider this guy a little bit of a card draw card as well, like giving you cards to do things. Pretty good card.
Yeah, no, I like this card. I would definitely, I would play this.
And I think that so the reason why I was saying, it's a druid card. We were talking about finding 1 extra mana. I think druid is the kind of class that tends to find extra mana. You got things like Innervate and Wild Growth and stuff where you kind of ramp up. And sometimes, like I was just playing. We're gonna talk about a druid deck later. I was just playing it, And there's some turns where I'm like, I'm going to turn 1 Yeti here. I really hope I get a turn 2 play. And, you don't. But I feel like that's a class that definitely finds 1 extra mana on a lot of turns. So
Agreed.
a lot of other classes like Priest and things just play so it's just so tied to that curve. Everything is just like I have just enough mana to do the thing I'm going to do on this turn. And I think Druid's a little more willy-nilly with the mana. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm also just excited that Mech-Bear-Cat is rare. I'm trying so hard not to laugh when I say the name. Because it's
the rare Mech-Bear-Cat.
This is a solid minion that's bringing spare parts with it into the arena. There's a good chance you'll find a Mech-Bear-Cat
you'll see it
while drafting your Druid in arena, and I'm looking forward to it. But let's look at the next one, which is another delightful reference. Mr. Toshley from Toshley Station is a 6 mana legendary neutral minion. He has 5 attack, 7 health, and he has this text is awesome, and I'm very excited about it. It says Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Add a spare part card to your hand.
I think that's what got me so excited about this card. Just the fact that you're able to have both a Battle Cry and a Death Rattle. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah, I immediately stopped thinking about this card specifically and started thinking about how this is now a thing in Hearthstone.
Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. You have all kinds of card examples that have like Taunt and Divine Shield or whatever, but we've never seen something that does something when it comes into play and comes out of play. Like, craziness.
It's going to be cool because people were saying, "Oh, this is like a new mechanic," but they're finding a lot of ways to do cool things with the mechanics that already exist, and that's when we talked to Ben Brode on the show and asked about new mechanics and things. He was like, "Yeah, we've got plenty of space to work with," and it's clear that they're not running low on ideas on how to make all of these things interact with each other. So
right,
yeah, it's exciting to see how they're finding ways to make new, really fun, cool cards with all the mechanics that already exist. The game feels like it's going to be so fresh and fun. So
yeah. Again, the first few weeks are going to be madness, and they're going to be so much fun. I'm
not going to know what to do. Like, what's the first deck you guys are going to build? I guess everyone's going to build a mech deck, right? I mean, that's just going to happen.
Well, obviously,
yeah. I'm going to build a mech deck, and then I'm going to have Kalenta's stream just on 24/7.
What is he doing?
And let him tell you to build. Tell you what to build.
I feel like he'll probably I think a lot of streamers are going to kind of lock it down, like about what they're really coming up with. But we're going to see a lot of fun going on. Oh, yeah. But the tournaments that come out right after this are going to be like, there's going to be too many decks. You can't just come in and say this deck counters this deck and this deck counters this deck. There's going to be way too many different archetypes to even. You're just going to try to come up with something cool. And I think this opens up the, what Brian Kibler wants to see, which is the single deck tournament. There's going to be way more openness for that, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to name my source, and Jocelyn, don't you dare say anything. But I'm told that Mech Warlock is the archetype to beat in Goblins versus Gnomes. That's what I'm told. Apparently, it is super silly. So take that with whatever you want to take it with.
So since this card has the Battle Cry and the Death Rattle, do you guys think that this is something that we're seeing specifically because this card is a legendary, or do you think that some of the yet to be revealed cards are actually going to make use of this whole Battle Cry Death Rattle thing?
Oh, I certainly hope so.
I want to see this on basic cards too. Yeah, just commons and stuff. You just have to cost them correctly, right?
Right. Yeah. Whatever the Battle Cry and the Death Rattle effect is, you have to. Yeah, like Dill said. And there's no reason a common card can't be amazing. There's plenty of common cards that are totally amazing. Sure. So, we'll see.
But I mean, think about something like Harvest Golem versus what's the one, the 2/3 and the 1/1 that come out together? I can't think of it. It comes out with the boar.
Oh, the Razorfen Hunter?
Razorfen Hunter, yeah. Like, you just cost them a little differently because one, you can actually make it a little more powerful because it has to die first, right? So it's a 2/3 and a 2/1 comes out. Now, it has to die before that 2/1 comes out. So there's a couple of disadvantages to that. One being like it doesn't get to attack the same exact turn you play the 2/3, right? And then there's subtle advantages the other way too. But then you got one where it's a 2/3 and a 1/1, exact same amount of mana, but they come out together. So that's all you have to do is just say, okay, now if we give them both, we're going to have to make that like a 4-mana card, right? Like it dies and it summons a 1/1 and it comes out with a 1/1. That would be something like a 4-mana card. So that's all they got to do. Doesn't matter if it's common, rare, epic, whatever.
Agreed. So anyways, I think that'll do it with our spare parts talk. I'm looking forward to it, definitely. And on a little fun story I wanted to drop in here. I saw it just before we started the show. Polygon posted a very brief article today about an internal email at Blizzard between Dustin Browder, the game director for StarCraft II and Heroes of the Storm, and Eric Dodds, Hearthstone's lead designer, back in 2012. So this is before Hearthstone was, announced, let alone playable by anyone in the public. And this is referencing just the internal Hearthstone build. Again, this is Dustin Browder writing Eric Dodds back in 2012. He said, quote, your game is being played on 4 computers in my area, and there are 4 people around one of the monitors watching a game being played. I'm going to have to make some rules about playing it during work hours. You and your team are going to win.
Yep. I would say they
amazing.
did.
Yeah.
I would say that they did win.
Yep.
I love the picture Yang Wu showed during the presentation at BlizzCon 2, where he was like, we love playing Hearthstone, and this is how we like to play it. And he shows a picture of him in his office, and there's just a ton of people all around, all watching him play his game.
That's how it's done,
I want to see
man.
more Yang Wu streams, by the way. Have we seen one of those in a while?
I don't
No, it's been a while.
think so. No, I mean, he just did have a child, and
True.
I feel like that's probably kept him quite busy.
And there's BlizzCon,
And there
and
is
he's
BlizzCon.
ramping up to release Goblins vs. Gnomes, so cut him some slack, man.
All right, fine.
And Jocelyn
But still.
slipped something in his beer at BlizzCon. So
And I'm one to talk. I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks, so.
Yeah.
you
I
haven't
was
been
gonna say,
around.
yeah, I haven't streamed in 2 or 3 weeks either, so.
Yeah, I mean, you were traveling, and
Yeah, that's true.
there's all kinds of crazy.
I'll get
crap.
back on it. I'm gonna start streaming some WoW PvP too.
And then think,
Top of the Hearthstone.
oh no, you can't do that because I know I'm going to be playing with you, and I'm going to be cussing the paint off the walls. Don't do
It's fine,
that.
man. My stream is rated R.
Rated R for really, Garrett? That's what you say when you're angry? Yeah, I love me some WoW PvP. Also, before we move on to the strategies, I just wanted to mention Brian Kibler. Big fan of his. Has a new Hearthstone article.
Brian Kibler of Kibler Gaming Kibler?
Brian Kibler, yeah. He has a new article out about his recent climb to legend, starting off using Hunter, then getting so sick of playing against other hunters that he decided to hunt the hunters and went back to Control Priest and hit rank 2 legend on the NA. So yeah, it's an interesting read. I really enjoy it, especially because I've been seeing so much hunter hate that I'm like, well, counter the hunters. They're not unbeatable, and I feel like
They're not unbeatable, but they're tough, man.
they are. No, I totally get it. I absolutely get it. But I feel like Kibler put like my opinion, what I was saying, which is just counter them. He put it way more eloquently and gives you a great deck to counter them with. So. Everyone can head over to bmkgaming.com for that, because I had a good time reading this today. I was like, ooh, yay, new Hearthstone stuff from Brian Kibler, because I don't know, I like his writing style. He's got a good way of explaining his thought process.
Yeah, I like a guy who comes from another game and plays this game too, because the perspective is there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people who are really, really good at this game, though, but this is the first game that they the first kind of card game that they really played a lot of. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I like, people get mad at us for comparing games.
Oh, how dare we, when Raynad also played Magic, and
a lot of these guys
and
played
Strifeco played StarCraft, and Brian Kibler is
Yeah.
world champion.
There's a lot of these guys who played lots of other different kind of card games too. There's like Yu-Gi-Oh guys and all kinds of stuff. There's
Exactly.
there's like a bunch of weird games we've never even heard of that these guys all come from, but there's really crazy strategy and tournaments play to it and stuff. But you take all that knowledge with you from one game to the next, and it matters. It really matters.
It is applicable. Obviously, really specific strategies are not, but a lot of the overarching strategies are. So
Sure. Yeah, you can't play your flying deck when you get over here. I'm sorry. It's not-
you can't.
the flying token deck ain't gonna do it.
What's the one with Wind Fury? It's like some type of
The 1/1 with Wind Fury and Hearthstone?
yeah.
Young Dragonhawk?
The Young Dragonhawk.
There you go.
yes.
Could you imagine if that had flying? I would play the shit out
Oh,
of that
damn.
card.
Everyone would play that. Yeah.
No flying in Hearthstone, guys. Damn it.
Everyone would play that.
Oh, sit in your corner, Jocelyn. Flying would be fine, and it exists in Warcraft. So
Not anymore.
there you go. You're right. That's actually a really good point. God.
I want to talk real quick. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this whirling Zap-O-Matic as if this is like going to kill the game. It is not going to kill the game, you guys. Everyone settle down. Have you seen this card?
Which one's
3-2
this
with
one?
Wind Fury, no overload.
3/2 Wind Fury, no
It's a shaman
overload.
card.
And what's its mana cost?
2.
2. That is a really good card.
2 for 2 with Wind Fury. It's a good card.
That's a good card.
It's a good card.
But it's also-
it trades equally with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's also very.
There's a 2/3 for 3 that never gets played. I don't think this card is like insanely powerful. But,
yeah, I mean it's 2 health. It's very killable.
Yeah. You kill it with Fiery War Axe, kill it with Backstab, you kill it with the Year 2 drop, kill it with all sorts of stuff.
Can I
It's
coin
fine.
a new phrase because it'll be funnier? It's very dieable.
Sure. Go for it.
It's dieable. We'll
Oh,
go-
dieable. It is dieable. Yeah.
It can die.
It can die. Yeah. It can and will die.
Awesome. Well, let's get into this week's strategies.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
Dills, this week you were like, you know what? We haven't dug into Firebat's World Champion Druid deck. So
No.
let's do that.
Yeah. Well, I think Druid is just a really strong class in general, and it didn't surprise me that he was able to 3-0 Tiddler with it in that final match because he just drew insanely well, and everybody knows that. And I'll also say this, Firebat didn't rely only on this Druid deck to win the World Championship. But if you watched only the finals, and that was all you saw, you probably went, holy crap, Druid is way overpowered, because it just tore through all 3 of Tiddler's decks. And it was, what, like 20 minutes, a 25-minute final, something like that? I mean, it was quick.
Yep.
So you've seen a lot of different types of Druids. Like the original, I think the first Druid deck that I was aware of that was really good was Strife Crow with his Ancient Watcher Druid deck, right? And that was kind of built around taking Ancient Watchers. Druids already kind of have a built-in silence mechanic with Keeper of the Grove. Or you could take Sun Fury Protectors, taunt them up, Defender of Argus, taunt them up, make these walls. And then kind of open yourself up for letting your other creatures live while they're dealing with these Watchers that only cost you 2 mana. Now that deck didn't have things like the combo. This is before the days when every Druid ran the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo. Then you saw the Token Druid come in. And the Token Druid was, just get a bunch of creatures out, hope they live, and at some point they'll live, and I'll Savage Roar and just do a bunch of damage to your face, right?
Yep.
Then you had, and people were doing all kinds of crazy stuff with that. They were playing like Illidan and Violet Teachers and
No,
stuff,
I
trying to
was
just
just-
produce as many as they could.
Yeah, I was just about to say that was the first deck, the first like playable deck I remember running Violet Teachers, because now we have the Violet Teacher Miracle Rogue, but
That's true,
yeah, back then that was the first one I remember ever making a dent that actually used a Violet Teacher.
And back then too, people were doing really weird stuff. So like the Violet Teachers were big, but people were doing stuff like Imp Masters. People were playing like Stranglethorn Tigers, like, oh, it's stealth, and then when I Savage Roar, it's does 7. So there's all kinds of weird stuff as people were kind of trying to figure this out. And eventually over time, you ended up with this ramp Druid that Gara made that was just really strong and destroyed DreamHack that one year.
Yep.
Where it was like, oh, wait, I play Wild Growth, and then all of a sudden I have more mana, and I can play huge creatures, and you can't deal with them because, you're on 6, and I'm on 8 mana. So, and then you had Kalento go, hey, wait a minute, I'll put all the elements together, and it'll be token with a little ramp, with a little bit of, control and all of that stuff. And now we've kind of started to see Druid be this very lean, mean fighting machine, I guess. I don't know what you want to say, but the deck is very streamlined now, and that's what Firebat brought in to BlizzCon, was a really streamlined, aggressive Druid deck.
And it doesn't seem like the Druid decks that have kind of stood the test of time, like they don't have like real hard counters.
Yeah,
They kind of
it's
do
tough.
well against most of what anyone could throw at you.
To me, what it seems like with Druid right now is that if Druid draws perfectly, it's impossible. Like, you could say that about a lot of classes, sure. Like, if they draw perfectly, they just win. But I feel like with Druid, there's just no way to stop the onslaught if they draw, Wild Growth and they get that on turn 2, and then they go Yeti turn 3, and then they go Druid of the Claw turn 4, and they go Cairn turn 5, and then Ancient of Lore turn 6. Like, it's just, you should just never catch back up. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I've always joked that it kind of feels like cheating because you're getting to play all these things a turn earlier than you should have. All you've given up is your turn 2, which when with the value you're playing on every turn after that, it doesn't matter that you're giving up your second turn.
No, it's true. And then you also got things like innervate. So, like, yeah, let's say you give up your turn 2, where what would I have played on turn 2? I would have played a 3/2 or something, or I would have played like a haunted creeper, a 1/2 that pops out 2/1/1. So I give up that. And then in turn, on turn 6, I'm playing a 5/5 and drawing 2 cards. You know, it's what you're giving up isn't really that bad in comparison to what you start to gain over time as the game moves on, which is just each turn playing a little bit more worth of stats than the other guy, and just eventually just overtake them. So you know what these decks are really doing is adding that ramp element in, so you can have these big tempo swings, and then the ability to Savage Roar force Savage Roar combo, just at any moment, is so scary for the other guy that they just spend the whole time trying to, their best to clear your board, which leaves you open to stay aggressive. And like I had a few games I was playing earlier where essentially they're just treading water, because in my hand I see it. I've got this combo, and I'm also playing stuff like Yeti, you know, and so they're just trying to deal with my Yeti, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you attacked my Yeti a few times with your weapon. Well, now I do this and I kill you because it's a ton of damage. So it's just a really, really tight, solid deck, and it's going to do well against the field. And I think that's why Firebat brought it. And the version he brought is just really, really streamlined and does a lot of things right. There's a couple notable things about it. He only runs 1 Force of Nature. And a lot of these types of decks, you're going to see double of both. You're going to see double combo. And I do think 1 Force of Nature is the right call, because you still have a lot of burst potential just with Savage Roar and creatures that live. But if you get 2 Force of Natures in your hand, sometimes it can kind of clog it up. So I really like the fact that he went down to 1. I feel like it opens up space for a couple other things. So he's got Cairn and the Black Knight in here. And a lot of times you'd see maybe one or the other. But he's able to get, he's able to actually fit both in there. He's only got 1 Azure Drake, so he's able to get, Lotheb in there as well, with Spectral Knights. And then he runs Cenarius, which I think is the perfect card to go, the perfect like high-end legendary to go in a deck like this.
Yeah.
Because it's giving you, what does it give you, like 9, 12 worth of stats for 9 mana? So
Cenarius is such a good card, and it's one of the main reasons I have really avoided Druid for such a long time, because I still won't have them.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten lucky. And
you know what I would do is I would probably put in like the second Force, or I'd put an Azure Drake back in, a second Azure or something like that. And I think you're still doing fine with like Cairn at the top of your mana curve. Or you could do something like Sylvanas, something like that, which kind of has the potential. I don't think in this deck you'd want something like a Ragnaros. I don't think it quite fits, because you're trying to actually do burst damage to the place you want it to go, and Ragnaros is just a little too random. So something like that I think would be okay if you don't have Cenarius. I think you can still get away with it and keep pretty much the rest of the deck okay. I would say the other thing that you'd want to mention about this deck is Shade of Naxxramas. I think Shade of Naxxramas really, outside of Lotheb, that's the biggest change this deck saw after Nax. That card is just, it's really good in Druid because of the fact that you can innervate it on turn 1. And an innervated Shade on turn 1 is just frightening if you're the other guy. You can sit there and you can just let it grow as long as you want. One thing I will point out, though, is I don't think, if you watch Firebat's games, he never really let it grow too long. You always want to actually get some value out of it at some point. So I think a lot of people will wait until it's like 8/8, 9/9, and you're giving up a lot of damage to do that, to get that one big swing later. And I'd prefer to try to maybe get to like 4/4, 5/5, and then trade. Make a trade or do some face damage or something like that.
Yeah, if you take off a fairly valuable minion that doesn't outright kill the Shade, so that next turn your opponent still has to do something to remove it, it's not a bad play.
Sure.
And if they don't have an answer, then it's a wonderful play.
Yeah. So I think that card did very, very big things for this deck, and I just played a few games with it just now before the show. I won 3 out of 4 or something like that. It's just, you're going to get win rates like that with a deck like this pretty consistently. Anytime I kind of feel like I'm stuck, I'm playing, I don't know what, I'm trying to, make a hand lock work or something, and I'm just running into hunters. play this and you can out hunter a hunter. You can beat them down before they beat you down because it's just so fast. So yeah, everybody check it out. It's up on Hearthhead, and I think we linked to it in the show notes.
Yep.
It's a great deck, and Firebat, watch him play it in that finals because you'll see somebody play it correctly. He made some fantastic moves with it that probably, I mean, yes, he got good draws, but he played those draws perfectly, and you saw it. You saw the results. $100,000. Play this deck, you will win $100,000. That is my guarantee to you.
Willie Dills guarantees don't necessarily actually work.
That's true. Yeah. Caveat.
Yep. So awesome. I really need a Scenarios. I need it.
Yeah, it's a good card.
I actually had 1600 Dust too, and then I really wanted to play the double hit Doomhammer deck, so I'm like, I'm gonna craft a second Doomhammer. So now I don't have 1600 Dust anymore. Alas.
Oh well.
Anyways, let's take a crazy game story.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
You can send your stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our story today comes to us from Andrew, who writes, "Hello, Mad Roosters!" Well, what about Jocelyn?
It's okay.
You wouldn't be a
She can be a
rooster.
rooster too.
I could be a rooster. It's the same as just calling me a dude or a guy or a bro. It's all
What's
good.
up, dude?
I feel like,
Bro fist.
to me, dude is less gender specific than rooster. But okay. All right. Anyways.
I mean, isn't that actually the name for some sort of like a male donkey or a male horse or something like that? Like the Dude Ranch? What's the Dude Ranch?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I think that's where it came from. It's like the male thing. It's not just.
So it's another male animal reference.
It's a male animal of some sort.
Okay.
Right?
We'll get emails or tweets, I'm sure. I'm sure someone's going to explain this to us.
I don't know.
This is
I'm
great.
probably making things up.
This is thrilling. I don't know.
Oh, it's okay. Wait. It typically applies to males, although the word can encompass all genders.
Okay. All right. So it's not so bad. Wonderful. So this is like when I defend myself saying guys at the top of the show in reference to you, Dills, and you, Jocelyn. And folks are like, Jocelyn isn't a guy. I'm just like, I used like just guys as a catch-all. I don't
All right, here we go.
Any disrespect from it.
Dude primarily meant a person who is dressed in an extremely fashion-forward manner.
There you go.
All right. Well, fine.
Otherwise
Anyways.
known as a dandy. All right. Moving on.
Andrew writes, I was inspired by Total Biscuit's all legendary deck and decided to create my own, knowing I'd get some crazy games out of it. I went with Warlock because Draxus is best, and I threw all of my legendaries in there, and some other fun cards, including 2 Faceless Manips. I queued up against a priest and got to work. Due to some crazy faceless plays, I had 3 summoning portals out and was able to play a 1-mana Sylvanas on turn 10, along with a Cheap Hogger, Kel'Thuzad, and Fugan. He said, I'm at 1 HP, and the priest plays a Deathwing. My Sylvanas was on board still. Her Death Rattle triggered, giving me a Deathwing and leaving him with no cards and no minions. He passes to me with 25 health remaining. I top deck a Soulfire. I play Holy Nova, Holy Smite, and Mind Blast, all given to me by Lorewalker Cho. Run Deathwing into him and play my Soulfire for exact lethal. Wow. Definitely the craziest game I've ever played, and I would agree with you, Andrew. I challenge you, Andrew, you out there right now, listen up, to get a crazier game than this, because this is a good one.
Yeah, this is the definition of the crazy game story. Like, you got all those spells from Lorewalker Cho. You stole the Deathwing. I guess the only way that it could have been even worse for him was if he played Deathwing while you had KT still on the board, and then Deathwing killed all your stuff or whatever, and then it all came back. Or something crazy like that. That would be crazy.
That'd be even better.
But this is still pretty.
But what?
Yeah.
No, like, what are the chances? Like, because so few people play Deathwing. Like, I love that this happened.
I just saw Karma stream, and she was playing Hunter with a Deathwing in it, and her reasoning was, a lot of times with the new current aggro Hunter, you get down to a point where you're just top decking, and what better to top deck than Deathwing?
That is amazing logic. I love it.
Flawless. I don't see how that can't be right.
It is at least It is logic. It is at least
It can be defined as logic.
It is a functional argument for running that card, which I will accept.
As long as you got reasoning behind your choice, then yeah, freaking go for it, man. If you can tell me why you're doing it, then you probably should be doing it.
I'll also give you style points just for saying, well, I just like the card. I'll at least give you style points. I will disagree with you, but I won't just be like, well, you're just wrong. 'Cause if you just go, I don't know, then I'm like, sir, sit down. We need to have a talk. But yeah, anyways.
I'm gonna try it. Why not?
Go for it. Go for it, Dills. Live the dream, sir.
I'm here to do science.
You just
somebody
made,
somebody tweeted me, told me that I'm not saying that enough. So
that's that. I think it was in an iTunes review because I remember seeing that. So you just made that man very happy.
Karma's actually in the chat room right now, and she's saying out of 32 games, Deathwing won her 7.
Oh, so there you go.
She had a 24 out of 32 win rate, and 7 of those were because of Deathwing.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's a good percentage of those games.
Yeah, that's well done, Karma.
Almost a third of your games won by Deathwing.
I'm so glad Karma was here to
clarify, yeah.
To give us even more logic and reasoning for running Deathwing.
See, like, if I wish other streamers were just randomly in here when I talk about what's going on with their games. It's like, oh, let me tell you why. Yeah, perfect. I believe, Karma. I believe.
Delightful.
The Deathwing.
Let's round out the episode with some emails.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, did you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com as well. Our first one today comes from... Doesn't say the name? Or is their name literally all the Arena Pack email?
No, this is literally like...
I get this.
This is the combination of all of the Arena emails that we got this week. So there's like, I think 6 different points. So there were like probably 10-ish emails, and there were 6 different points that I was able to pull out. So all the names are at the end of their point.
So folks didn't...
Have fun with that, Garrett.
So, Jocelyn, if folks didn't tune in last week, this is in reference to...
the discussion that we had around Goblins versus Gnomes being the reward for Arena, as opposed to being able to choose between... normal packs or Goblins versus Gnomes packs.
Wonderful. Yeah, you missed a heated discussion, Dills.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't so heated between Garrett and I. It was actually we were pretty much on the same page for the most part.
People were so mad that we didn't agree with them, however.
Yes, that was pretty much the issue. Yeah, chat room was not happy with us.
So a lot of people.
I'm dying to hear these points.
A lot of people were more or less a large amount of people were unhappy about the fact that come Goblins versus Gnomes in Arena, you will only receive a Goblins versus Gnome card pack as a reward, or possibly 2 if you do really well. Yeah. And Jocelyn and I kind of agreed that we don't really think it's that big of a deal. But anyway, so we got a ton of feedback. So under the pro. Giving Goblins versus Gnomes only in Arena. One of the points that was made was that Hearthstone is a TCG at heart, whether it is digital and whether you can trade or not. Every other TCG, whether it is Magic, WoW, Legend of the Five Rings, etc., whenever they have a tournament, which is in essence what Arena is, the rewards are almost always the most recently released expansion. This came to us from listener Schwan, which I think is a really good point.
No, that's true. I mean, I don't know of a single other kind of game where they go, okay, so we're gonna give you this thing, and the prize will be the thing from last time. That's just not. That doesn't really work that way. Even in other types of games too.
Right.
If I'm raiding, I'm always getting the most recent gear, not the old. But I mean, I can see why people they want the old cards. They still need to finish out their set. So
yeah.
Well, and I can, especially when you bring up the WoW example, as somebody who just started playing right before Mists and, didn't have all the old stuff and everything else, it can be very daunting coming into a game where there's already a whole lot of previous stuff, but you're not necessarily aiming for that. You're aiming for the new stuff. And we've talked about some of the cards that have come out in this, or have been revealed so far for this expansion. And we've talked about how they seem very well costed, if not a little cheap compared to the old ones. So I think you're going to see a lot of Goblins versus Gnome decks, and it's going to be a really Goblins versus Gnomes heavy meta. And maybe you don't really need the old cards.
Well, you'll need some of them. But
well, some of them,
you can make them.
But
you can craft them with the dust you get from the,
Yep. You also get
It's
gold.
not like it's impossible to get these old cards.
Right. That's the thing. Another pro point was this came from Mikhail, said, I think it only makes sense that upon the release of the second expansion that they will roll the card pack from the old expansion into the standard pack. So will you always have one standard pack and one pack which contains only the cards from the newest expansion? God, I hope not. I hate everything about that idea. I hate it so much, kill it with fire.
Which is so funny because I read it and went, oh, cool. Yeah, that would make sense.
No!
I mean, I always thought of it like every time a new thing would come out, you'd have a new kind of pack. And the way, like the solution that I had thought of in my head for this was that you could just trade back an entire pack if you wanted to. And then it would be
I think
whatever.
I feel like chat room brought that up last week as a good solution was not necessarily, you just kind of got a pack token that you could then go turn in for whatever kind of pack you want. They want to have choice.
Sure. I mean, I think though that like Blizzard doesn't want to put a bunch of stuff in it, like a bunch of different types of currency. So they've got gold, they've got dust.
Mm-hmm.
But Yang Wu tweeted back at me after I tweeted that and said like originally a pack was the currency. So you could take the pack and you could do stuff with it, you know?
Yeah, I saw that. I meant to add that in the notes and I totally forgot. He said at one point in Hearthstone's development that a pack of cards was the only currency. There was no gold, there was no dust. It was just packs of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So
essentially you could take your pack of cards and then I guess purchase something with it. I don't know exactly what it was at the time.
So not knowing what the 5 cards in the pack were, you could trade it in for an arena run?
I think
I don't know.
He didn't go that deep.
To handle that.
I think originally, yeah, you would like gain a pack, but stuff has changed so much. Like they used to say that in arena you would keep the cards you drafted when you did your arena draft. I mean,
wow,
that's how it used to be.
Yeah, in theory that would have made arena cost so much more.
Well, arena would have costed more. Plus, you wouldn't pick just to have the best arena draft. You'd be like, I'm missing this card, so I'm picking this card. You know,
yeah, it's like
it'd be a totally
I would
different
see Cenarius and just be like, bam. But of course, if I saw Cenarius in a draft and I was running Druid, I would take Cenarius anyway.
You'd probably take it anyway, yeah. But I mean, that's an interesting thing about like Magic when you do a draft. Like, don't you just get to take the cards home with you?
Yes, but
Well,
I'm also
probably
paying.
plenty of times you take a card.
I'm also paying more than $2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But there's probably still plenty of times where you get a card in your pack and you're like, oh my god, I need this card for my standard deck.
Absolutely.
I'm taking it.
Absolutely
so.
that. And that's why in certain tournaments you can crack your cards and you can choose to drop out right then and there without passing those cards to the person next to you and having them play with that pool.
He's like, you know what? I'm out of here.
And I think it's super smart. Again, more Magic talk. Sorry, guys, but I think that's super smart because it stops people from just being like, "Oh my God, this card's worth $100," and just running as fast as they can and hoping security doesn't catch them.
Yeah, it's a good system.
I think it's a great
Stops
system.
The trolls from trolling. But yeah, I think if you could back trade packs, then it would just kind of solve the whole thing. Like you could just go back to the original pack if you really wanted the original pack.
I think, and I'm gonna do some armchair developing here, because I don't know how to develop a damn thing, and I don't know if doing this would cause Hearthstone to catch fire and explode. But I think an elegant way to do it in the Hearthstone UI, because they are so very concerned with the UI being clean, simple, and easy to use, is that when you go into your open pack screen. And follow me on this. You've got your decks that are they're like
unopened packs on the left.
On the left, and then your opening
Center
area
section. Yeah.
You know when you go to pick your card back, you know how you bring up that menu and there's just a right and a left arrow.
Sure.
Imagine on the left side with your unopened packs, there's a right and a left arrow under that, and you just click it right, and it swaps between the different card packs that there are, and there's some text so that you know exactly what the card pack is. And the graphic obviously changes. I'm sure the Goblins vs. Gnome packs are going to look all engineery.
Yeah, we've already seen.
Oh yeah, they'll look different.
They look like
Yeah. So I think that would be a really elegant way to handle it, because that way you don't have this token. Then you don't need to go to the store. That way a pack is just a pack, and you can just cycle through. And you know what? If you accidentally swap it to vanilla and move it over, it's on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But again, it would take action to swap it. You know what I mean? Because it starts as the most recent one. So if you have to do something to change it, it's fine. But I don't want to start seeing like, here's this kind of token, and this type of token is good for goblins and vanilla, and this type of token is good for the new ones or goblins, or it's like, okay, well, hold on, like let's not put a bunch of crap in the game.
Yep.
If you could just swap a pack backwards, then you never have to put a new anything. You just have gold, dust, packs. Done.
And if someone over at Blizzard really liked that idea, I've got a lot more, and I would love to work as an
All you
artist.
gotta do is just pay me a salary.
So let's talk about some of the con Goblins versus Gnomes only in Arena responses we got, because we got quite a few. John M. wrote, personally, I wouldn't ever choose the blandness of just buying a normal pack versus the thrill of Arena combined with the chance to win more, but a lot of that excitement will also go away from me once I have most of the Goblins versus Gnomes cards I want anyway, which is, I think, hard to argue with. It's a good point.
Yeah, but has it gone away now when you can't? I mean, you can't get Nax cards in them. I have all the cards. I still think that opening the packs is fun for me because I'm trying to get golds and stuff. And I don't know. Yes, it's less than when I was getting cards I didn't have, but I still play Arena, and I still like opening the pack. So I'm not. Yeah, even though his point is sound, I don't think that's. I don't think it's the same way for everybody. I still like to open packs. I have all the cards.
Yeah. Mako or Mako Dragon also says, if Arena rewards are only Goblins versus Gnomes, then I am stuck crafting all of the basic cards, which we all know is incredibly time consuming, or worse, using my gold to buy packs instead of Arena runs, which is my preferred method of enjoying the game.
And so I think this is what the argument is, yeah.
Which I don't necessarily know if I agree with, only because, like, with Blizzard not coming out with another type of dust, like, I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of dust. What is your balances looking like?
A lot of dust is relative.
Well, I guess so.
Are you have so much dust that you can craft 20 legendaries? That's a lot of dust. If you have 1,600, that's not technically a lot of dust if you want to craft a legendary.
No, I think I'm hovering around like 3,000 probably.
That's a decent amount.
Yeah,
it's a decent amount, but you still couldn't craft that many cards unless you're going like all commons.
Yeah.
No,
Well, see, I'm only crafting golds at this point, so 3,000 seems like a very small amount to me. I can't even craft one golden legendary with that.
And
that's true.
So yeah,
that's gonna change.
I feel like
I think you're gonna be able to disenchant all of your extra Goblin versus Gnomes cards for the same kind of dust, and if you've been saving up, then I don't know.
The thing is, you won't be disenchanting very many early on. So let's say you just get in the game right now. You don't have very many of the old cards at this point. Then Goblins versus Gnomes comes out, and you're only getting the new cards. And you're never disenchanting those either because you don't have any of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're essentially never gaining dust during this period of time. And so your old collection essentially goes on hold while you fill out Goblins versus Gnome cards. And we should just say GVG, right? I mean, so, you're essentially...
I would prefer you sang the jingle in its entirety. Goblins and Gnomes.
Every single time. Yeah.
Every time.
But essentially your old collection just sits stagnant because you're not gaining dust at the normal clip you are when you're only getting cards you don't have. None of those are getting disenchanted. So it's going to be really slow going. And I agree that it's going to be slow going for
I think it is going to be slow, yeah. But it's not doable. No,
it's still going to be doable, but it's going to be slow. And people who are still trying to fill out that old set. That's their argument is like, I just want to open a pack of 5 of those because I don't have very many of them. And if I'm trying to start a collection here, I want to be able to open 5 of those cards. I'm not going to disenchant very many cards on either set right now, but I really want to be able to fill out that old set first.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
We have a couple other points here. I'm trying not to drag this out so long, but it's an interesting discussion.
It's a big topic. Yeah.
Do you think another reason their initial decision was to make it GVG packs only was from like a customer service standpoint? Because you got to figure if you give people choice, someone's going to screw up that choice, and then you're going to start getting a ton of emails like, "Hey, I wanted the Goblins vs. Snow pack, but I accidentally bought the vanilla pack. Could you credit that back to my account? Because this is why the customer service department for World of Warcraft is huge. Because people are constantly screwing up rolls, and people are getting stuff ninja looted, or they're forgetting to grab something, or they accidentally deleted their legendary polearm. Anytime I feel like you bring player choice into something that has real money value, it can become a customer service nightmare. And I haven't heard that point brought up.
That's a good point.
Blizzard
actually.
hasn't mentioned that, or at least if they have, I didn't see it. So if someone hits me with an email 2 minutes after this saying, "You jackass, it's right here," I apologize. But I don't know. I think that's also a consideration, because if it's GVG only, deal with it. Yes, I don't want people to think that I'm against choice. I think why not? It's great. Go for it. The thing I was kind of railing against last week was like the intense anger. And I saw one dude be like, "I'm not going to recommend this game to newcomers at all, because this is going to be so anti-new player." And I'm like, you're insane. You clearly have never
Yeah, I
played
purposely
any
left
other
that part of the email
goddamn
out.
card games ever. Because you know what's anti-newcomer? Every other card game ever made.
Yeah, pretty
So-
much. This is the most free to play of any card game there is, and I understand people. They go, "Oh, free to play. I want it to actually be free to play," but you understand a company made it and wants to make money, so nothing's essentially ever going to be like, they're not going to give you, "Okay, it's easy to get all the cards for free, but we sell them. Would you like to buy them?" It's like, no, you made it easy to get all the cards. Like, that's just not how things work. So it's going to be hard to get the cards if you never want to pay any real dollars.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yep. Whereas,
Just how it works.
Whereas if I want free cards in Magic, I have to commit theft.
You have to do sexual favors.
I was going with theft, but,
Okay,
but
sure.
way to take it to
sexual favors always work better for me.
Oh,
less chance of jail
jeez.
time. You know,
Oh.
people like you more when you don't steal.
Oh man, that's so wrong.
No comment.
A couple more con points that I wanted to bring up. By the way, Jocelyn, thank you so much for Jocelyn did an amazing job of sorting through these emails. We got so many. It's insane. Tony wrote, best way to get original cards becomes spending real money as a result of this. Taking away from Hearthstone's biggest selling
already
point,
is.
being free
Sorry.
being free to play. If I can't use Arena to get vanilla packs, but I'm using all my gold to buy Arena runs, what are my options for vanilla packs? Real life dollars. You can also craft with dust, because they're not putting in specific dust, which everyone is overlooking. Yes, it's harder. And Dills, you already made my retort, which is it's already the easiest way to get more cards. Is
Real money is already the best. If you want to get lots of cards and you want to get them quickly, you pony up your $50, bang.
But I'm also trying not to troll Tony. He has a point. This makes it an even better way to get vanilla cards. Yeah. It does. It's totally a valid point. And our final point is from Nikias, who says, if Blizzard only rewards GVG card packs in arena runs, they effectively limit the access to classic card packs. Sure, you can still get them with gold or money, but you have less possibilities compared to GVG packs. Which
you have one less possibility.
And it gets
one less.
It gets, and
there's three possibilities right now. You took away one of them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think. I mean, to boil down my points is, I think choice would be obviously the best route that would make. I don't think anyone's going to complain that they have choice. That's not going to happen. So I think choice is probably the best option. That being said, I don't think giving the newest, shiniest thing is a bad thing as the only option. It will probably make their life easier on their end. And really just the big thing for me is the people losing their collective minds over this. I just do not understand. But there's some really good points on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, but putting this into perspective, you're expecting a company to make something easy for you to not have to spend money, and that's essentially not going to happen ever. So you kind of have to adjust your standards here. Blizzard's trying to make some money off this game. They made a great game. They want to make a little bit of money off of it. And they're going to make decisions that are going to reflect that. You can't hate on a company for trying to make some money, especially when they consistently put out amazing stuff like this. I'm just like, hey, take my money. I don't care. I love what you guys do. But, I mean, yes, I think and we've talked about this on the show, the way it would work if we were in charge and there was no development time or cost associated with it, is you put in all the things that you want right away. Everything you ever want goes in the game. Bam.
Spectator mode would have been out the day after one dude asked for it on the forums.
Exactly.
You know? Oh, okay. We'll get on that. Hey, let's hire 100 other people so we can get this done overnight.
Yeah.
Because
But
we
in
have
the real world,
infinite money. Yeah. No. I mean, like I said, I totally get it, and I think some of these more level-headed discussions totally make sense. I was just like, really, the thing that set me off last week was the guy was just like, I'm not going to recommend it to new players, and I was just like, you are just adding fuel to a already flaming forum, you jackass.
Somebody said they wouldn't recommend our podcast because we disagree with his point of view?
No.
Oh, recommend the game.
The game, yeah,
Okay.
to new
To new
players.
players. And I was just like,
All right.
man,
Well, I'm sure that Blizzard's crying tears over that.
and
That guy is going to single-handedly take down Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Not gonna
That was the thing that just set me off. But anyways, I don't know. I'm curious to see how Blizzard pans this out, because the amount of people who feel strongly about this is much larger than I ever would have thought it would have been.
I know.
Well, one thing we
I'm
know-
so shocked. It's such a big issue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but anything with these games is a big issue. Like when they switched to need or greed, right? And wow, oh my God, the world is ending.
That was where you saw me with my pitchfork and torch, man. When
that's pretty bad. I think they had a good method, and then they changed to a bad method.
And then they changed right back.
But that was the point I was going to make, is that we've seen Blizzard pay a lot of attention. So what you guys are doing, if you're getting in the uproar, is you're doing the right thing, which is make your opinion known. Just try not to turn it into a flame fest, because then it tends not to get listened to as seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go in there and you say, I don't think you should do it this way, I think you should do it this way, and this is why, Blizzard has proven that they pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. They put out a big post on the Heroes of the Storm site last week detailing, hey, you know those 4 new heroes we showed at BlizzCon? Those all pretty much came out of community requests. Everyone
I thought you were going to say they all came out of my butt.
No.
And then I was going to say, who was this man? And he's my hero.
Well, that would have been Chris Metzen. But
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, kind of my hero.
But anyways, Dills, you want to take the next email?
Oh, crap. We have another email? Oh, my.
That one took so much longer than
I think that was enough emails. But all right, we'll read this one too. This is from Circadian, who says, Dear Cantankerous Cluckers, I was listening to this week's podcast where you discussed Zariah's post on the Blizzard forums. The point was made that a lot of the fan-requested features would contribute to the complexity of the UI and negatively impact the accessibility of the game for new players. I've heard this argument used before when talking about both increasing the number of available deck slots and about improving the search filter options in the collection deck building screens. I think that Blizzard's design policy of creating simple game mechanics UI whilst ensuring lots of strategic depth is admirable. That's admirable. A constant stream of new people joining the Hearthstone community can only ever be a good thing for the game. That having been said, I think there's a relatively simple solution for the problem. Hearthstone needs an API. I think the Angry Chicken needs to ask Blizzard to get working on this now. Blizzard clearly... Huh? Sorry.
He is grossly overestimating.
Yeah, I call Ben Brode every night. I'm like, yo, bro, yo, put Will on the phone. But they do listen. They listen. He's right. I mean, they know.
Oh yeah. But I don't. The way you put it, it's just like, yo, Blizz, get this shit done. Thanks.
Okay,
Dills out.
Blizzard clearly pay very close attention to the feature creep demands from. Oh, okay, hold on, buddy. I'm reading this next sentence. I don't know if this is true. To the feature creep demands from Garrett, Dills, and Jocelyn, and will prioritize it forthwith. I'm sure if the demand is made, there will be a 50-50 chance of it being implemented. Hurrah. All right.
Thank you, Circadian, for scaring away any of our future Blizzard interviews, because they're like, oh, crap, people believe that they have way more pull than they should believe they have. So we're going to take a step
they're going to
back
tell us to implement some new
from
feature again.
Our involvement in the show.
Okay, well, there's a couple things I want to address by what he's saying. I love the idea of the ability to just get an add-on if you want it. And then if you don't care, you don't have it. It works great for WoW. So many features have been added into the game now because, that somebody makes essentially, and like kind of what we have now is some of this, like what Hearthstats is doing with their stats and you actually open a piece of software and it keeps track of what's going on for you. So Blizzard doesn't have stats built in. somebody else made that for it, and you can have that feature now. That I love, and if there was an open API, you'd have a lot more of that, and people could, do stuff like, I have now an infinite number of decks, and it just loads them into my game for me because it's just essentially what it's doing is recreating your deck at the moment you want to play it, right? That kind of stuff would be great, and I definitely agree. I would love it. I like the whole thing of open APIs. I think it's awesome.
Agreed.
Do you think it would cause problems given that they have the iPad as well as desktop?
Well, you wouldn't be able to use...
It just wouldn't work on mobile
iPad,
devices.
yeah.
That makes me sad. I wonder if there's a significant number of people that play only on the iPad.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure there is.
That's just too bad. I mean, it's not a limitation of the game or the API. It's a limitation of the
iPad,
the hardware. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it's not Blizzard's fault.
Yeah. So, but I still think it would be a positive overall to have open API.
I'm kind of on the same school as Dills, like all open API all the time.
Well, Sparky says more bots with open API. Not necessarily, because botting is it's a program you write. Doesn't matter if you have API or not. The API basically gives you access to a few things, not everything. Mm-hmm. So, sure, maybe some bots might be a little more sophisticated, I guess you could say, but I don't think it makes it easier. And it still would make it. Plus, anybody who uses it, Blizzard kind of knows what they're doing with it, so they kind of have access to it as well. So I don't know. Not sure it would work that way.
Easier to catch nefarious acts, but.
By the way, Blizzard's taking away the gold player things, the gold character models or whatever.
Wait, what?
For botters.
Yeah. Oh, for botters. Well, we talked about last week that some botters got permabanned.
Some botters got permabanned, but people who didn't, though, they're taking away the gold portraits.
Haha.
Okay. I thought you meant just in general they were getting rid of the reward for 500 wins. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
They're too pretty guys. We just can't handle how beautiful they are.
Botted. They're setting it back to 0, whatever their win total was. So it takes away their gold portraits.
Haha, that was actually the thing that infuriated me the most.
Right? Yeah.
So they had gold portraits and you didn't?
Man, I'll play your shitty shaman all day long, but you don't deserve that golden portrait that I am taking forever to get to.
That I will never have.
Yeah. We'll be four expansions deep by the time we get our first, I think, with how much we tend to swap decks. But anyways, Jocelyn, you want to take the final email?
Do we want to do another email? We can save it for next week. This one
Dills,
isn't really time sensitive.
You have your other show tonight, Dills?
We're supposed to, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, then we'll move on.
We'll save it because I do want to talk about this one for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, the freaking GVG packs in Arena went a little longer than expected, but that was also a delightful combination of, I think, 6 different emails. So good job, Jocelyn.
Yeah, we clearly had a lot of emails that came in about it, so it deserved a big section.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we leave, I want to mention that we have a contest going on right now. We are giving away some of the Blizzard buildable capsule toys. These were at BlizzCon. You could use your Hearthstone coin at the capsule machine to get one of these dudes. We have 4 Illidan's, 1 Tyrande, 1 Nova, and 1 Zeratul from our listener Jake, who donated them. Thank you very much. And we're going to be giving away 3 on Twitter and 4 on the Patreon. So if you want to enter to win one of these capsule dudes, they're fun. They kind of look like South Park characters when you put them all together. You can tweet to us at TAC Podcast. Use the hashtag Chicken Capsule, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. And if
sounds like chicken poop.
You're damn right. You're damn right it does. Except if you've ever seen.
Someone get out there and clean up all the chicken capsule.
Except if you've ever seen
damn chicken capsule on the ground.
If you've ever seen any bird poop, it is very far from a capsule.
I know.
And if you want to enter on the Patreon, I'll be putting up a contest post tomorrow and simply comment on it. So there is that. Thanks again to Jake. And it's going to be, I think, it will be U.S. contestants only because the donator was kind enough to volunteer to mail them all out for us. And I don't want to stick him with like $100 shipping bill if multiple people from Australia and the Philippines win, like the last giveaway we did, which I don't mind doing. But when someone else is volunteering to foot the bill, I don't want to stick them with a big bill. So U.S. contestants only. Sorry, guys. We'll definitely do another international contest very soon. Anyways, that brings us to the end of another episode. Want to thank all of you over at patreon.com/TAC, all of our mother-clucking TAC patrons. Thank you guys so much. for supporting the show. What the heck are we up to now? It's something ridiculous. Over 1,600. Wow, 1,666 is what we're up to.
Whoa, hey,
So,
Nice.
Thank you guys very much this week.
Thank you actually for making it something easily divisible by 3, everybody. We really appreciate that.
It's okay. Patreon will take their cut, and then it'll be not so nice
Oh yeah,
anymore.
then it won't be divisible at all.
Yeah, alas.
From now on, prime numbers, everybody. If it's not a prime number, donate till it is.
Anyways, we wanted to thank the following patrons this week. Thank you to Ken W., Chris B., Todd H., Philip B., and Ron, no last initial given.
Just Ron. Just Ron.
Yep.
Like Madonna.
I hope it's Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson with his bacon. Thank you for...
Ron, you're like Madonna.
And also, if you're leaving us reviews on the iTunes store, thank you this week to Tupelicious, MFry25, Didifer, Britton LJ, and Ramon Lopez. Thank you guys so much for your iTunes reviews. If you are listening to The Angry Chicken on iTunes and you like what we're doing, please leave us a review. It really helps the show out a lot. So thank you guys. The Angry Chicken, as always, is a production of amove.tv and frogpants.com. Email us at tacpodcast@gmail.com. All of our past live shows can be found over at youtube.com/starcastshow. Our t-shirt is on slashloot.com. That's SLASH loot.com. Our Twitter is at TAC Podcast, and we're live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AMoveTV or on Alpha Geek Radio. And check out Brian Griffith, the musician responsible for our intro music over at briangriffithmusic.com. Dills, where can folks find you when you're not being the most cantankerous of cluckers?
You can find me on The Instance, the World of Warcraft podcast that you don't have to. It's in full effect right now because, of course, Warlords of Draenor is out. Everyone's doing nothing but play WoW. I'm hopefully going to shorten the crap out of this Giants podcast so I can play more WoW tonight. That's pretty much all I want to do right now is play WoW.
WoW is really good right now.
It's a good game, man. It's not a bad game. 10 million people seem to agree. So if you want to check that out, instance.net. It's all on iTunes and stuff. It's doing really well right now. You can see a lot of people are coming back to the show as well as the game. So a lot of excitement around that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Torchcast, I just mentioned it, the podcast about how much we hate Pablo Sandoval now that he went to the Red Sox. And so look for us being super salty about that on the next episode. And what else? I guess that's it right now. Yeah, just finished all the MGA stuff, so nothing really going on there. Hopefully I'll be streaming again soon, though, playing some WoW PvPs and some Hearthstones.
Sweet. And Jocelyn, what about you?
Best place to keep up with me is on Twitter. I'm at GIS Gamer. I do the Gamers In every Friday night right here on AMove TV at 8:30 Eastern. And hopefully going to start up some streaming too very, very shortly. So just GIS Gamer on Twitch.
Awesome. And are you going to be shooting eye bullets through your Twitter?
Absolutely. All the time. I just have to let my eyes heal, and then I think the laser powers come.
Yeah, you gotta load them, right? There's special eye bullets that they gave you. You gotta load them in there, and then
the back of her head kind of like cocks open like an old school double barrel shotgun. She loads in 2 shells and lasers.
Yeah.
You guys are ridiculous.
The Joss bot. Here she comes.
Follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. That's 2 R's and 2 T's. I'm doing a new podcast with a Frenchman named Patrick Beja about Overwatch, Blizzard's new first-person shooter. I'm not sure
Worst podcaster ever. That Patrick.
He's
terrible.
He's a jackass. I mean, I don't know why I'm doing a show with him.
Terrible voice. Nothing interesting to say.
No.
Doesn't know anything about any of the topics that he covers.
No, he didn't used to work for Blizzard or anything.
Yeah. His neck is always freezing cold because he never wears a scarf. Lots of facts I could say about this guy.
But yeah, the show about Overwatch is called Overwatchers, and you can find it wherever you find podcasts. We're on iTunes. I finally got confirmation from Stitcher that we're up on there, so go check that out. Go to nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio, and also check out Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast I do with Mr. Kyle Ferguson. Other than that, I hope everyone who celebrates it is having a wonderful Thanksgiving this week. And have fun, guys. We'll see you next week. Check out our sponsors, DockOutSystems.com. Use the code TAC to get double memory on your next rig. And job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!
So much better than when I do it.
Sorry. Laser eyes!